Hello guys, welcome to another exciting episode in our Photoshop designing series. In this video, I'm going to show you how I created this flyer with Photoshop. Of course, with easy steps like I've done in previous videos. If you've not subscribed to my channel, now is the right time to do that. Without having to say much more, let's get started. So the first thing I would like to do, and I've always done in previous video, is go to new, and I'm just going to impute the name here. So I'm just going to do that. Type in the name here, which is social media flyer, but this one is going to be for earbuds. So yes, good. And of course the width and height stays at 500, and resolution 300, transparent, everything stays the same. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is go to adjustment layer here and go to solid color. Now this is the color code to work with, so just copy this and impute it into your color picker, and we are off. Right, so again, the link to the resource file is in the description of this video. Please check the description of this video to get the link, please. Right, so I'm going to start off with this first file, which is the earbud. It's a Photoshop file, so just double click to open, and I'm just going to drag this like this and impute it here this way. Right, so I'm going to position this well, and you can see it's a nice looking image. Convert to smart object, right, and make it smaller. It's quite big, so just make it smaller like this, and voila, there you go. Make it smaller and bring it downwards like this. When you're okay with the position you want to be, just press enter to get rid of that transform. Make a duplicate copy of this, Ctrl J, and okay, before I tone down the opacity, I would like to make it big. So with this duplicate copy here, Ctrl T, and I would like to make it bigger. Make sure you're using your scroll wheel so that I can zoom out just the way I just zoomed out. You can see now. So zoom out like this and make sure this one is here. Right, I'm all zoomed out with my scroll wheel. If you cannot zoom out your scroll wheel, press Ctrl and minus on your keyboard to zoom out. Right, so I'm going to make this 30, and I'm going to make the fill also 30. Just type 30 there, and this is what you have. This nice looking effect. It's looking like a spaceship from like movies like Star Wars and the rest. Right, so you have this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger while still moving it upwards like this, and there you go. Right, so I think I'm comfortable with the position it is right now, and yeah, good. This is also good. So now I want to get rid of these edges. You can see that it has this rough edges. So what do? Hold down Control while you click on, okay, no, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Right, you can see it's very important. This is what we are working on, right, this one here. So hold down Control while you click on it to make a selection around it. Right, this is what we want to get rid of. So hold down Control while you click on the thumbnail, go to select, hold down Shift before you click on this select and mask. It's very important. If you don't hold down Shift, you won't see your control like this, or you won't see this option like this. So what you're going to do is bump up the smooth and reduce. Just copy my settings, please. And something is not right. Okay, see, it came back to that. Make sure you're selecting this, right, and go over to select, hold down Shift and select and mask. So make this move like this, turn it up. You can see it's, you can see the effect. You can see that I've gotten rid of those white areas. So this is how I get rid of some extra white areas in images within Photoshop. Right, then you can put the output to new layer, or most times I like using new layer. Right, and click OK. right? So select the two of them, right click and convert to smart object, so it's still one image like this, right? Great. Okay, so the next thing we want to be doing is go over to adjustment layer and go to hue and saturation. So click on colorize, and you can see it is giving it this nice greenish hueish effect, right? So copy my settings. The hue is set to 25111, right? Good. So I'm just going to reduce the opacity here, and I'm going to make it 42, right? Make sure it's not too much. Right. I'm going to create a new layer like this, and with this new layer I'm going to select this as my light color because I want to apply some light to it. So that's the color code. So I'm going to go over to my brush on my new layer, and I'm going to increase or change the brush. Make sure you're using the soft round pressure opacity and flow, right? So increase the size of the brush. You can either do that manually by using the bracket key or by coming here and increasing the size. So with my brush selected, opacity and flow set to 100. This is too much. Okay, good. I think I like it in that area. I'm going to come here and apply to this part too, right? You can see that nice looking effect that is creating already, right? Okay, so now that that's out of the way, the next thing we want to do is I'm just going to make this slightly bigger. It's kind of small. I don't like it the way it is, so I'm going to make it slightly bigger, and I think this is okay, right? So what I want to do here is I'm going to drag this hue and saturation below the image. I don't want it on top of it, right? So I'm just going to drag it under like this so it doesn't affect the image. I have better plans for it, and you're going to see during the course of this video, right? So now I'm still working on this. I'm going to create an adjustment layer on top of it, hue and saturation. That's what I used. Right click and select create clipping mask. So everything we're going to be doing is going to affect only the layer beneath it. Click on colorize, and please copy my settings. 100 120 0, right? 100 120 and 0. You can see now that the light effect that I intend to use is now overshadowing the whole image. So click on the mask and invert, Ctrl I to invert it. Then go over to your brush, make sure you're painting on white, your foreground color is white and your mask is black. So just reveal where you want the color to be, which is these areas that has some lights on it already before. So I'm just going to apply it on those areas, right? If you feel you don't want it on some areas, you can revert the mask and paint on your black. So I'm going to do this again, hue and saturation, right click and create clipping mask, colorize again, saturation, and this time I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to invert again, but this time I'm going to be adding that. Make sure you're working on the whites on this part. You can see I'm going to light it up like this. Okay, I'm going to light it up this way. Perfect, like this. Great. Okay, so to some extent I think I'm okay with what I have right now, but I might still make some little bit of adjustment to it later on during the course of the design. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go over to where I have this file. I'm going to drag this one in and bring it inside here like this. So with this, Ctrl T and rotate it like this, and should it be this way or this way? I'm trying to. Okay, good. So I'm just going to rotate it this way and click enter. Right, so I'm just going to make a duplicate copy of it. Before I do that, I'm going to blur it, add some blur to it, and I think this is okay. Click OK. Copy my settings just so we are on the same page. I'm going to take this up and Ctrl J to make a duplicate copy of it and bring this somewhere here. Now this time I'm going to turn this around and position this here. No, yeah, good, right, perfect. So I'm going to add some curves to this. Right click and create clipping mask so it affects only that one. I'm going to make it darker like this, and Ctrl I to invert this, and I'm just going to apply that effect to the areas I want it to be, like this. Hue and saturation, clip it again, colorize, use the same settings that I'm using to, so we're on the same page, and invert it, and I'm just going to reveal the areas where I would want the light to reflect on. Yeah, good. I'm going to apply some extra blur to it. Click OK when I'm done. Okay, great. So I'm going to select these three of them, which is this first one I did. No, not this. And select all of them and group them. And I'm going to give it a name. So this will be faded boards, right? Faded boards. So the main reason why we have to arrange our layers in Photoshop is just so when we want to make adjustment later, so we can actually come back and make some seamless adjustments, right? So moving on, bringing this next image in, resize and rotate like this. I'm going to put this here like this. Rotate it more, somewhat more, and of course I would also create some lighting effect on it, like the areas that the lights reflect on. But then you see that this one also has that white thingy, so do the same thing. Hold down shift, select the thumbnail, hold down shift while you click this option, smooth out and decontaminate here. So I'm gonna bite my tongue. So select the two of them and right click and convert to smart object, just like this. And what you're going to do next is click on hue and saturation, clip it again to the board we're working on, which is this one, right? Click on colorize and drag the saturation all up to 100. Of course, you know at this point we'd have to invert this, so Ctrl I to invert this while we reveal the areas that we want light on. So I'm going to take my flow to like 70. Most times when I'm working on lightings, I don't let my flow stay at 100 because of course the kind of brush I use is pressure sensitive. Don't get it twisted. For this tutorial I'm using a mouse, so if you are wondering how can I do this with my mouse, I'm also using my mouse. Constantly practicing it, you get used to it. Yeah, easy peasy. Good. So I'm just going to create a clipping mask with a new layer with my brush selected and my color. I'm just going to set my flow now to 100 and bump in some few lights, like more lights. We need more lights, right? So that's what I'm doing, more lights. Change the blend mode to linear dodge art, and there you go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is Yeah, select these three, and that's this airboard we just finished working on, and give it all caps board 1. Yes, but this is board 1, right? So bring in this, drag and drop inside like this, and of course rotate this way, and make it smaller, just like this. Bring this one also downward like this with this arrow. Okay, so let's come back to this. Drag this up so it's above that light layer like this. So the same thing we did to this first one where we brought it in. So click on it like this, and hold shift while selecting, select and mask, decontaminate 100, and smooth it out 100. Click OK. Select the two of them, convert to smart object. Right, so let's move on. So here on saturation, clip it, create clipping mask like this, and let's throw in some lights on this earbud. So what I'm going to do is, okay, so I didn't turn on this, so colorize, saturation 100. Yes, that's the color I'm using. So let me start this from the beginning again. Invert this, right? So what I'm going to do is, with the brush selected, I'm just going to rub in some glow, nice glow like this. Nice glow like this, and when you make a mistake, you can always press Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z is your best friend. You always go back, create a new layer, make it a clipping mask, and with my brush selected, I'm just going to make visible the light effects. See, sharp like this. Change the blend mode, and there you go. So you can add mask to it when you want to get rid of some other parts that you don't want inside of this, just like I did. Okay, select these three and Ctrl G to group them. So this should be board 2, just like this, board 2, and make this smaller while you rotate it more. Bring this down, like this. Select the two of them and make it smaller. And with this new layer that I created, I'm just going to go over to my brush, click once, and make sure your flow is set to 100 and opacity 2. So change blend mode to linear dodge, and I'm just going to use it to add extra lights to places where I need the lights to be. So I'm just going to do this like this, position this one here, and do this way. Click enter, Ctrl J to move this, and I'm just basically making a duplicate copy of this. And with this one, I'm going to mask it and conceal these areas. Make sure when you're concealing, the foreground color is set to black. Right, conceal here, and we're good. So Ctrl J again on this one, and I'm going to apply it here, somewhere here. I'm just going to make this smaller because it's going to stay here. So make this smaller again, and voila, there you go. I'm going to position this here to make it more realistic. I'm going to put this one here, duplicate it and put it here so that I have the same effect there. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here. Okay, let me create something. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this one, Ctrl J, and bring this down here. So I'm working with what has been created already. So hold down your shift while you reduce the size, not the alt. Hold down the shift, Ctrl T, and hold down shift, bring this to this position here, click enter, duplicate it, Ctrl J, and I'm going to flip this here like this and make this smaller this way. Should I flip? Good, I think this is nice here. I'm just going to flip it and make it straight like this, and voila, we're good to go. Right, so this is the light effect that I want to add to this particular image. Right, so create a new layer above all of the light effects, and make sure your foreground color is set to this color. So this is the color code, the one we've been using from the onset. Convert it to smart objects, go to filter, and click on noise. Under noise, click on add noise. Now this is the level of noise you should add to that. Right, follow my settings and change the blend mode to what? Lighter color. You can see how much of a difference that makes, right? Great. So with all of this, and I'm going to select all of, okay, this is the light. From this part to this part, you have all the lights. So select everything and group them, just name them lights. Right, great. So on the top layer, create a new layer. This would be for my text. I'm going to go to my source file. I took our time to actually type all of this out, so we want to waste all the whole day on one tutorial, right? So it's straightforward and easy for you to learn also. So I have this all typed out, and of course, the last thing I want to do is create a new layer here. With this layer created, what I want to do is, okay, before I do, yes, my foreground color is set to that base color that I have before. So I'm just going to double and hide some areas here. So what I'm going to do now, under the faded boards, I'm going to go inside the faded boards, this second one here, this one, right? So this one here. So what I want to do is create adjustment layer, select exposure, clip it, right click and select create clipping mask, tone down the exposure like this, and adjustment again, hue and saturation, clip it, okay, I'm selecting the wrong thing, right click, create clipping mask, and colorize 100, and I'm going to use that same one I used before, 100 like this. So of course I'm going to invert this because the light will not be on the entire part of this image. So make this smaller, and I'm just going to reveal on these areas like this. So adjustment layer, brightness and contrast, right click and create clipping mask and increase the brightness like this, and contrast also goes up like this. invert, then also make it count where it needs to count, right? So I'm going to increase the blur also, just like this, and when I'm done I'm going to click OK. Okay, so I think like one other thing I forgot to do is create a new layer directly above this. Make sure you are under the text layer, and select your rectangle and draw a rectangle like this. Double click on the thumbnail and select anywhere here to choose a color. And no, okay, good, somewhere here, so you can copy that color code and use it instead. Right, so the next thing I want to do is fade this out, but before I fade it out I would like to add an extra effect. I won't fade it out now. I need to add some extra effects to this shape. So how do I do that? Let me Ctrl Z on, okay, Ctrl Z. I don't need to add any mask yet. Go to filter and go to filter gallery, convert to smart object when it gives you the prompt, and it's going to open here. So what you're going to select is diffuse glow. Please follow my settings that I have here. Right, when you are done, click OK. So this is what you have if you did that the right way. Okay, create a mask, and what you want to do is fade both edges, right? So with this selected, make sure you're on your black, and okay, Ctrl Z, make sure you reverse it like this. Good, and I'm going to do it again. Good, and do it for this part. Fantastic. Right, so I just blurred out the edges that way. Okay, good. So you can see how we were able to create all of this just inside of Photoshop. So the next thing I want to do to finalize everything, make a snapshot. Ctrl Alt E, Ctrl Shift Alt E to make a snapshot, and I'm going to make some adjustments using the color balance. So use my settings here in the color balance region, and shadows, add some blue so it maintains that realistic approach. It's not right. So for the highlights, add to this, and also add this to it. Okay, let me put it back at 0. I think this is good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. Before and after, you can see how much more difference it makes. The darks are popped out and they are realistic, like I always say. So create a new layer, and what I want to just do is just paint in some black here, and we're good to go like this. Social media flyer, earbuds. Okay guys, if you've liked my video and you've gotten to this point, please don't forget to give my videos a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share. Sharing is good, sharing is nice, right? If you have not subscribed to my channel at this point, please hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be the first to get my video when I post it, right? Thank you all. And yeah, for my existing subscribers, you guys are the best. I love you all. Keep supporting me. Thank you very much.